Right friends, welcome back to Press Information Bureau News in Detail, and for this 3-4 weeks you will have only two modules for current affairs. One is PIB, the second one is why and how. This is for 21st week, 22nd week, 23rd week, 24th week in view of revision modules as well as Q&A discussion modules for civil services preliminary exam aspirants, and at the same time we are planning to complete economic survey as well as economy also before preliminary examination. That's why only two modules in current affairs, PIB and why and how, will be produced for these 4 weeks, and after examination it will be as usual for current affairs. Look at the first one. Union Minister of State for Home Affairs Sri Kiran Rijiju participated in the global platform for disaster risk reduction at Cancun in Mexico, and here you should not forget this Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction was adopted at the UN World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction held in March 2015 in Sendai, Japan. And Sendai framework, if someone talks about Sendai framework, it is the framework for 15 years voluntary non-binding agreement. This is very important. So, Sendai framework is a voluntary non-binding agreement which recognizes that the state has the primary role to reduce disaster risk, but that responsibility should be shared with other stakeholders also, right? And here one important aspect is at the regional level, India hosted first Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. And two things please don't forget. One is Asia Regional Plan for Sendai Framework, or you can say Asia Regional Plan for the implementation of Sendai Framework was adopted. Second thing is National Disaster Management Plan was also launched by India to align with the Sendai Framework. So these things don't forget. And Tejas Express, which was launched, is a semi-high speed train. In fact, this train can run up to a maximum permissible speed of 200 km per hour, but our tracks do not permit that speed. And here the special features I have given. You can go through these special features for this Tejas Express. And when you look at various trains being introduced in Indian railway system, Antyodaya Express, Tejas, Humsafar, and in addition to these trains, Uday is also another train which was proposed. Uday is the double-decker train which can carry 40% extra passengers. So the new trains, don't forget Antyodaya, Tejas, Humsafar, Uday. Then Minister for Tourism and Culture inaugurated an exhibition in view of return of the 3 stone sculptures from Australia to India, and the 3 ancient artifacts, they were stolen and smuggled out of India, and they were inadvertently acquired by National Gallery of Australia, and now these 3 are brought back to our country. These 3: seated Buddha, worshippers of Buddha, and goddess Prachangira. So please go through the details. The statue of worshippers of the Buddha, it belongs to 1st century BC to 2nd century CE, almost around 2000 years old, limestone statue of Satavahana era, and it depicts the worship of some of the Buddhist symbols, possibly Sakrastambha or Bodhi tree, and this was unearthed in Prakasam district of Andhra Pradesh. Second one is a seated Buddha with a large halo, and this belongs to Kushan era, 2nd century CE, spotted red sandstone, Maholi, Mathura in Uttar Pradesh, and this image represents the Buddha seated cross-legged, right? And if you look at the next one, standing Prachangira, this belongs to Chola era and 13th century CE, Tamil Nadu, grey colored granite stone, and this image was under worship in Vrudhachalam temple near Chennai before its theft. So these 3 things from examination perspective, please keep in mind. If you look at the next one, Union Cabinet approved the phasing out of FIPB, and here Now all the FDI proposals requiring government approval will be passed through the concerned administrative ministries, but DIPP will issue standard operating procedure. So please don't forget, FIPB is going to be dissolved, and for the foreign direct investment the rules are notified by DIPP. If the foreign direct investment is to come through automatic route, there is nobody else approval is required. But if it is to come through government approval route, then now concerned departments will give approval, and the standard operating procedure that will be circulated by Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. Right, having learned this, let us look at the next one. Union government approved a policy for providing preference to Make in India in government purchases, and this is in line with the Make in India program. And under this policy, preference in government procurement will be given to the local suppliers, and local suppliers are those whose goods or services meet prescribed minimum thresholds for local content. Right, so local content is essentially domestic value addition. Let us go ahead. Union Cabinet took a decision for amendment of Central Road Fund Act to allocate 2.5% of the proceeds of Central Road Fund for development and maintenance of national waterways. And please don't forget, at present we have 111 national waterways, and here 2.5% of the money under Central Road Fund will be allocated for this waterways, or you can say national waterways, and accordingly 2.5% share will be reduced for national highways. And while implementing the national waterways projects, please remember, while implementing the national waterways projects, the execution strategy, or you can say the project development strategy, is PPP basis, and government funding is to be used only if private investment is not forthcoming. Please remember, the normal strategy of development of national waterways should be on public-private partnership basis, and government funding is to be used only if private investment is not forthcoming. Please don't forget, this Central Road Fund 2.5% will be allocated to national waterways. Then if you look at the details, an allocation of 2.5% of CRF proceeds will provide approximately rupees 2000 crore per annum for the development and maintenance of national waterways. And please don't forget, the first Jal Marg Vikas project is being implemented, and this is first Jal Marg Vikas project. Please don't forget, we have already discussed about this National Waterway 1 in the previous classes. And the Inland Waterways Authority of India has estimated that approximately 25,000 crores is required for development of identified projects in national waterways till 2022-23. Then Union Minister for Road Transport, Highways and Shipping, Nitin Gadkari, and Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis launched India's first multimodal electric vehicle project at Nagpur Airport Complex. The fleet of 200 vehicles consists of 100 of Mahindra's new E20 Plus vehicles, and the minister stated that e-vehicles will be promoted in order to cut down on the huge import bill because of oil imports. At the same time, second advantage is it will reduce pollution. Third one is it will create cost effectiveness in transportation. Right, please look into this picture. And Niti Aayog is formulating the strategy for the promotion of electric vehicles in a big way in their perspective plan up to 2032. Please don't forget. Then Union Power Minister launched Seva app. Seva stands for Saral Indhan Vitaran Application. Saral Indhan Vitaran Application. It is developed in-house by Coal India Limited. It is part of Digital India initiative, and it will increase transparency and accountability in the dispatch of coal. This would lead to rationalization of coal linkages, and finally, in the near future, non-power sector mines would also be added in this app. So, this app will increase transparency. So, SEVA stands for Saral Indhan Vitaran Application. So, this SEVA dashboard is also created. It would help consumers making advanced logistics planning, and it gives information on the railway rake movements and the latest status of indents of rake. That means the requirement put up for the rakes and their allotment, loading. So, to make the movement of coal highly transparent, this SEVA dashboard is created, and SEVA means Saral Indhan Vitaran Application. If you look at the next one, Third Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Third RCEP Ministerial meeting was held at Hanoi in Vietnam, and our Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman participated. And please don't forget, RCEP is the proposed mega regional free trade agreement being negotiated among 16 countries. The 16 countries are 10 ASEAN countries and 6 ASEAN free trade agreement partners. These things don't forget. Please look into this. These are 16 countries where this mega trade agreement of RCEP is going to be formulated. Then, amid reports of large scale layoffs in India in the IT sector, the government came up with some statistics with the information with regard to growth of IT sector. As per the government report, 39 lakh people are working in IT sector, and IT industry added 6 lakh jobs in the past 3 years, and the government stated that as per the NASSCOM report, the industry requires 2.5 to 3 million new jobs by 2025. That means the government tried to project rosy picture, but the things are not that good in the information technology sector, right? And government stated that it is giving thrust to BPO promotion scheme to promote job creation. The government stated that BPO promotion scheme was launched with an aim to provide employment to 1.45 lakh persons, mostly in the small towns, and this was announced some time back, and the government now stated 48,000 BPO seats will be created in 2017-18, and government's aim of this promotion of BPO scheme is to create jobs in IT sector in small towns like Imphal, Guwahati, Siliguri, Muzaffarpur, Amaravati, etc. Then for northeastern part of the country, the ministry has got separate northeast BPO promotion scheme with 5,000 seats and having employment potential of 15,000 persons, right? The government also stated that during the past 2.5 years, 72 new mobile manufacturing units were started in the country. But the most important point to note here is the value addition of the mobile manufacturing is abysmally low at around 6%. What these companies are doing? The companies are just importing the spare parts, just assembling and selling it in our country. But actual value creation, which is the index of the development of manufacturing in the country, is abysmally low. The value addition of the mobile manufacturing in our country is abysmally low at around 6%. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change along with UN Environment Ozone Actions Compliance Assistant Program organized Ozone to Climate Technology Roadshow, and here this was held at Agra, and 13 exhibitors that promoted ozone and climate friendly alternative technologies to HCFCs and HFCs in the refrigeration and air conditioning sector participated, right? So please don't forget, HCFCs were to be eliminated under Montreal Protocol, and now Kigali Amendment to Montreal Protocol put the phasing down of these hydrofluorocarbons which are highly heat trapping gases, because of which the temperature of the globe will increase. The idea of Kigali Pact is to reduce the global temperature rise by 2100 by at least 0.5% by phasing down hydrofluorocarbons, right? Then look at the next one. Central Board of Direct Taxes entered into 2 unilateral advance pricing agreements with Indian taxpayers, and advance pricing agreements strengthen the government's commitment to foster a non-adversarial tax regime. Here, because of advance pricing agreement, what happens? It provides certainty to taxpayers in the domain of transfer pricing. What is meant by transfer pricing? When the transactions takes place between a parent company and subsidiary, or you can say 2 related enterprises, then the pricing is transfer pricing, and transfer pricing is susceptible for disputes, and to eliminate that tax disputes, this advance pricing agreements is the best mechanism. Right friends, the Prime Minister chaired 19th interaction through Pragati. Pragati is ICT based multimodal platform that is the proactive governance and timely implementation, and Prime Minister reviews through this Pragati platform. This time he reviewed vital infrastructure projects in the railway, road and power sectors. The Prime Minister also reviewed the crime and criminal tracking network and systems, CCTNS. This is one important aspect from examination perspective. Please don't forget NAT grid. At the same time, CCTNS is crime and criminal tracking network and systems. What is the purpose of this? Purpose of this is to reduce crime rate. It is to interconnect police stations across the country. It is a mission mode project under National E-Governance Plan, right? Please go through all these details. And the interoperable criminal justice system aims to integrate the CCTNS project with e-courts and e-prisons databases in the first instance, right? So, integration of all the police stations and subsequently CCTNS project with the e-courts and e-prisons databases. That is the main purpose of interoperable criminal justice system. So, please don't confuse CCTNS project. The project is to connect all the police stations to reduce crime rate, and at the same time this interoperable criminal justice system aims to integrate CCTNS project with the e-courts and e-prisons databases in the first instance, right? There are other pillars of the criminal justice system subsequently, and in the first instance this CCTNS project will be integrated with e-courts and e-prisons, that is interoperable criminal justice system. So, if someone talks about the CCTNS, please don't forget, and interoperable criminal justice system, that also please don't forget. The Prime Minister addressed annual meeting of African Development Bank. For the first time, the meeting was held in India. India is also member of African Development Bank group, and please look into this. During the colonial era, 32,000 Indians came to Kenya to build the iconic Mombasa-Uganda railway, and around 6,000 stayed back and they started small businesses which are called dukas, and they are known as dukawalas. And India's partnership with Africa is based on model of cooperation, and this is the country Kenya towards East Africa. And for Mombasa-Uganda railway line, several Indians went to Kenya in those days, and some of them stayed back, which are known as at present dukawalas. And the Prime Minister stated that India extends the line of credit through Exim Bank. And please don't forget, during India-Africa Forum Summit, India offered $10 billion for the development projects over the next 5 years. India also offered grant assistance of $600 million, right? So, these things, please go through it. And we deliberated in the revision class about the solar mamas. That is another connect between India and Africa, please don't forget. And let us go ahead. International Day of Yoga 2017 led by the Prime Minister will be organized in Lucknow. 51,000 people are expected to demonstrate common yoga protocol along with the dignitaries led by the Prime Minister. 2 books were released in view of completion of 3 years of office. Man Ki Baat, Sri Rajesh Jain, he compiled this. Then Sri Uday Mahorkar, Marching with a Billion, analyzing Narendra Modi's government at midterm. These 2 books were released in view of completion of 3 years in office. Then Atal Pension Yojana reached 53 lakh subscriber base. And about Atal Pension Yojana guidelines, just have a glance at them. It became operational from 1st June 2015, available to all the citizens of India in the age group of 18 to 40 years. This is one important aspect. And a subscriber would receive a minimum guaranteed pension of rupees 1,000 to rupees 5,000 per month, depending upon his contribution from the age of 60 years. And if one of them dies, if wife dies, husband will get the pension, and upon his death, then the accumulated pension wealth will be returned to the nominee, right? Then National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, NPPA, capped the prices of 31 more drugs. The notification brings under price control intrauterine devices used for birth control and several other life-saving medicines for hemophilic patients like that. And with these 31 drugs, NPPA has brought 791 medicines under price control. There are at present 829 drugs on the national list of essential medicines. 2 things don't forget. National list of essential medicines is the lookout of Health Ministry, and this National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority is the lookout of Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Of course, NPPA is vested with this purpose, and CDSCO looks at the national list of essential medicines, and CDSCO is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. These things please don't forget. And next one, the Minister of State for Power Coal Mines stated that International Solar Alliance can act as a medium to spread lessons on energy security, which can help achieve universal energy access target set up under SDGs before 2030. The minister spoke at the launch of Scaling Solar Mini Grids by France and India. This is about International Solar Alliance. The secretariat is at Gurugram, and the main objective of International Solar Alliance is to reduce the cost of finance, at the same time to reduce the cost of technology. So remaining things all of you are clear about, but one important point is it is the first international and intergovernmental organization to be headquartered in India, right? So this is very important point, right? Let us conclude PIB. Please do join for why and how. Only 2 modules every week for these 4 weeks because of Civil Services Preliminary Examination, and have a nice day. Thank you.